An ancient Hawaiian healing practice is called ho'oponopono. If you look at the word carefully, you can separate it out into syllables, and that will make it easier for you to pronounce when you see the word. There have been many teachings and entire books dedicated to the practice of ho'oponopono, so I'll make this introduction very short and then launch right into the actual practice itself. But basically what I'd like to emphasize is that after you've listened to my introduction on an approach to personal and planetary service, you'll realize that all the practices that I will be sharing in the videos to come are based in that sense that we are all part of one being, that I am another you, that you are another me, and that what I do to you, I do to myself. What you do to me, you do to yourself. That will offer a basic understanding that will help in the practice of ho'oponopono. Fundamentally, ho'oponopono is a way of taking responsibility for what is happening, in quotes, out there, and recognizing that everything that's going on around us also is going on within us. And that we can step into the situation in a way that says, I am partially responsible for this. And many people who practice ho'oponopono do it in the spirit of, I am completely responsible for this. They assume full responsibility and full willingness to recognize the roots of what is happening, quote, out there within themselves. And that's a very powerful thing, one that goes against every mechanism of the separate ego that wants to keep us in judgment and polarization and projection. So the more we practice ho'oponopono with whatever is going on in our lives that doesn't feel harmonious, or whatever is going on in the larger sphere that we would like to be a part of the healing of, we recognize more deeply that we are all united in oneness, that I really am another you, that you really do have all the same things going on within you that I have going on within me, in all the various permutations and combinations that make us the unique humans that we are. So in the practice of ho'oponopono, to simplify it, we basically hold in our hearts and souls the situation that we would like to work with, that we hope to have an improving impact on. And we say 4 sentences, again, really meaning them, saying them from our heart and soul. And those 4 sentences are, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'd like to say just a little bit about each of those sentences to kind of fill it out. I'm sorry. Isn't this one of the hardest things that any of us can say? We find it almost impossible when we're really identified with the separate ego, who wants anything but to admit that we have anything to do with the problem that we're in the middle of. So saying I'm sorry is accepting responsibility, as I mentioned earlier. It's saying, yes, I am a part of what is going on out there. Even if it seems like it's across the world and has nothing to do with me, I am part of it because we are all united in the greater field of beingness as souls. It's a way of saying, I take responsibility for what is happening and I atone for my part in it. Now to the second sentence. Please forgive me. Again, isn't this hard for the separate ego to even think, much less say? Can we humbly ask someone else to forgive us? That admits that we are a part of the dynamic, that we cannot project it all onto them. We cannot make it all their fault. We're letting all of that go and saying, please forgive me. I somehow had a part in what is happening here, and that is painful to me. I want to go beyond it. So in your forgiveness, I can find my way to freedom. The third sentence is, thank you. Thank you for helping me to evolve. Thank you for helping me to clear whatever in me is preventing me from seeing that we are all one, that I am another you, and you are another me. No matter what you're doing, no matter how you appear, we are all part of the one greater being, the soul of humanity. And by thanking you, I'm recognizing that without you, I cannot evolve. I cannot get through this stuff on my own. I need you just as much as you need me. So thank you for playing your part in my ability to get free. And the fourth statement is, I love you. The epitome of Christ Jesus' teachings. Love one another, even as I have loved you. Love one another. And another one that is so powerful when we deeply contemplate it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. I love you because I know that you and I are part of one being. I love you because we are all here to evolve as souls. And I have compassion for you in that journey, just as I have compassion for myself and all that I go through on the way to soul evolution and living more deeply from the soul that I am. I love you. Isn't that the simplest thing we could say, but sometimes the most difficult? Can we truly love these beings who seem so separate from us, so easily able to be judged? Those beings that we deem so worthy of being judged according to our ego minds. Can we invite them into our hearts? Can we recognize our similarities? Can we join on that most fundamental level as souls who are here on earth to awaken? We may have to go through some inner work, do some looking at our own shadow material before we are really able from our heart and soul to say, I love you. So let's put all of this into practice. And let's begin with a situation that feels relatively easy, that isn't too fraught with judgment and separation, but maybe has some of that going on. A situation that is in your own personal life that you would like to come to a different place with. So to begin with, let's just let our eyes close and go inside. Feel ourselves being breathed. Feel the divine coming into us with every in-breath, and whatever we don't need to carry around anymore, leaving us on the out-breath. And breath by breath, inviting our awareness to travel to our inner world. And as you rest in your inner space, invite the soul that you are to bring to your attention a situation that you would like to use to practice Ho'oponopono. Simply let the situation appear in your inner vision and be with whatever is or was going on there. Feel inside yourself what it brings up for you. Be aware of the emotions, the thoughts, the possible judgments and separation that are and have been present. And now focus your attention on the primary person that is involved in this situation other than yourself. And imagine yourself looking in their eyes and saying, I'm sorry. Feel whatever you're feeling, have the experiences you're having, while I'm sorry reverberates throughout your being and into this situation. And for each of these steps, you can pause the recording and allow as much time as you like to go wherever your consciousness takes you. This is a process. It's not a once and done, say it and it's over kind of experience. So let the process be everything it wants to be. And when you're ready, you can now look the person in the eyes and say, "Please forgive me." Being aware of whatever that stimulates within you. Thoughts, feelings, a part of you maybe that's saying, "I don't want to ask them to forgive me. I didn't do anything wrong." All the objections, all the resistance, let it all be what it is and simply be present. You don't have to do anything with it. Just hold the sentence in your awareness. And when you're ready, you can go on to the third sentence. Thank you. Feeling what it's like to say that within yourself. Being exquisitely aware of the sensations in your body, the feelings, the thoughts, anything that goes with saying thank you to this person. And let that go on as long as it likes. Then when that feels complete, you can go on to the fourth statement. I love you. Looking them in the eyes and saying, I love you from your heart and soul. Noticing if there's anything half-hearted about the way that came out. Noticing where your heart and soul really are with this person. Is there full love and acceptance present? If not, that's okay. Ho'oponopono is a process, and it often needs to be repeated repeatedly so that we can slough off all the layers that keep us from being in a state of oneness with this other being. And so again, let this process go on as long as it likes. Turning off the recording, pausing it, letting yourself go wherever you need to go inside in your awareness. Until the four statements feel as if they've reached a point of completion for now. And so as the four sentences feel complete, simply be with yourself and feel what's happening inside of your body, your mind, and your emotions. Just noticing the effects that this process has had on you. Notice where things still feel stuck, possibly, and where there might be some new sense of movement, however subtle. Noticing if any particular sentence evoked more resistance than the others. Noticing the thoughts that came up in your mind all along the way. Maybe writing them down to keep a record of your experiences with this practice and with this situation. And just noticing any concluding thoughts, anything that's present that is part of the completion of this for now. You can use Ho'oponopono as many times as you like with this situation and this person. There may be other people involved in it that you would like to use it with. You may find that somebody else is cropping up into your awareness. as part of the dynamic that hadn't seemed as important before. And that's simply telling you that there's some unfinished work there that needs attention, that wants to be brought into the wholeness that you are. So just allow a few moments to contemplate everything that's happened with this before we move on to a more global situation and person. And now for part 2 of this process. Again, let the breath bring your awareness to your inner world as you feel the breath breathing you. Feel the divine energies pouring into you, and anything that you no longer need to hold within you, released on every out-breath. And ask your soul to bring your awareness to a world situation, whether in your own nation or in the globe as a whole, that would like your attention right now and would like to serve as an opportunity to practice Ho'oponopono. Just let the situation emerge and show itself to you. No struggling here, no effort. Just allowing the process to unfold. And so bring your awareness now to the dynamics of that situation that has gotten your attention, and to the person that seems to be at the epicenter of it. And let yourself simply be and breathe and feel as you're with that situation and that person in your mind's eye. You may need a little time here. You may want to pause the recording to be in touch with the feelings, the thoughts, the judgments, the separation that may be present within you regarding this situation. Just simply notice them, be aware of them. No need to do anything with them or to push them away or welcome them in. They are what they are. Our only job is to be with them, to be aware of them, to witness them through the eyes of our soul. And when you feel ready, you can look that person in the eyes, that national or world figure, and say, "I'm sorry." Let whatever goes on within you be what it is, do what it's doing, and just simply come back in your inner dialogue to the 2 words, "I'm sorry." Objection after objection may arise, and that's fine. That's all part of this process of flushing out what lies in our own subconscious, so we can be freer and bring that freedom to the world we live in. So if you need to pause the recording, feel free to do that so that you can be with this part of the process as long as it wants you to be. I'm sorry. And as you feel ready, we can move on to the second sentence. Please forgive me. Saying this, looking into the eyes of that world figure, letting anything that's arising be what it is, not tangling with it, but just letting it be there and move through as it's ready. Continuing to look into their eyes, feeling your own heart and soul as the place you most want to come from and saying again, "Please forgive me." Accepting that even if you don't know how, maybe somehow you are playing a part in this dynamic in some mysterious way and on some unknown level that our human minds, our human awareness, can't completely fathom. And again, just allowing the process of being with whatever saying this statement and looking into the eyes of this person brings to the surface within you. And when that feels complete, going on to the third statement. Again, letting a breath come and go, standing in your own soul energy, looking into the eyes of this other being who seems to be so different, so over there, and saying, "Thank you." And one more time, being with whatever that evokes within yourself, letting everything simply be what it is as it arises to be seen on the way out. Looking into their eyes and repeating, "Thank you." Recognizing all that that means to you as you say those words. And feeling the gift that you're offering that being. And finally, the fourth statement. One more deep breath. Once again, feeling yourself rooted within yourself, within your sacred core, looking in the eyes of that being and letting the words emerge from your heart and soul. "I love you." Even if they only feel 5% true, letting the words travel from your heart to theirs, and being with anything that is stimulated within yourself as you say them and offer them out to this being whose eyes you are looking into and to the world at large. "I love you." Can I really mean that? Can I really say that in truth? Making room for anything that's in the way of being able to honestly, sincerely say that to this being. Any emotions that rise up, any thoughts, any memories about what you've heard they've done, how you've imagined that they've been, whatever it is, just allowing that content to do what it's doing and to move through, turning it all over to God, letting the divine have every bit of it. Knowing that we ourselves as human beings don't have any idea of how to really get through it all, how to find our way through it to a new place. But the divine knows how to guide us impeccably toward that new place of freedom, acceptance, sovereignty, and living the love that we are. And so allowing as much time as you like at the end of this process to be with whatever continues to arise, whatever continues to be present, whatever is wanting attention and allowance within yourself. Noticing if participating in this process has changed anything in your view of the situation or your approach to this person. How do you see that person now? Is there any way that you're experiencing more of a sense of unity, even if it's on a very vast and impersonal level? However we're experiencing unity is a good thing. So just be aware of all the ways that your being is experiencing the aftermath of the process of Ho'oponopono. And you can notice over the next period of time, hours or even days, how this experience of yours continues to reverberate throughout your being and perhaps open up new places in consciousness and in your energy field. You can use this recording as a template whenever you like to work with either a personal situation or a planetary one. Many people find that as they incorporate the practice of Ho'oponopono into their regular spiritual life, that their capacity for empathy and compassion, for joining with rather than separating from, increases in beautiful ways. It can also be a really powerful vehicle to accelerate our self-awareness and to bring our attention to the shadow places within our ego personality structure that are ready now to be transformed and brought into wholeness. Ho'oponopono is a radical process, and it requires a lot of us. We may need to do a lot of inner work all along the way to be able to say each of the 4 sentences and really mean them. Not mean them with just part of ourselves, but mean them with all of who we are. But that's okay, because that is the process of soul evolution, and that's why we are all here. So we can love ourselves through the process of attempting to meet a challenging situation, either in our own personal lives or in the larger world, from the perspective of Ho'oponopono. I would love to hear your experiences with this practice. It's been a really meaningful and catalytic one in my own life. And of course, living in partnership gives Barry and me tons of opportunities to practice Ho'oponopono with one another. And we can all recognize that whoever we're around, whatever situations we find ourselves in, are exactly the ones that are there to catalyze our soul growth. And so meeting them with Ho'oponopono may be a new way of dealing with them, but it can be one that leads to a tremendous amount of inner awareness and freedom. So I wish you well along your way, and I, again, would love to hear your experiences. Love and blessings to you. Namaste.